I was at an event recently and somebody was asking me about SEAL training, about our basic course, BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training. That's the name of the basic course that everybody needs to go through to become a SEAL. It's a mythic program. It's one that's had since the early 60s when it started, almost a 80% attrition rate. So almost 75 to 80% of the people that show up do not see the finish line. And it's pitiless in its design. It's meant to be that way to get the right people to the assault teams to be able to do that very, very challenging job. But someone was asking me really in detail kind of about, we were really talking about professional reputation. And he was asking me a little bit about, at what point do you feel like you established your reputation in the SEAL teams? I think that's hard to identify yourself. I don't think I can fully answer that question because I think in the end, I'm not sure what my reputation is in the SEAL teams. I think it's probably where I'd want it to be. It's probably about that 80-20 shift of, I think about 80% of the people hopefully believed in me, respected me, wanted to be a member of the team I was playing at, and 20% of the people are probably putting pins into a voodoo doll with my name on it. And I think that's about right because you're actually holding the line if that's the case. But in that kind of discussion about reputation, I think he was surprised that he thought it would take longer to build that. And I said, look, the day you show up to that place, you are establishing and kind of putting marks on the ledger on what your reputation will be. And so if you carry your weight, if you do your job well, your reputation is on a good glide slope. If you cut corners, if you far worse, fail a teammate or try and take advantage of somebody to better yourself, your reputation is going to start down. It's very, very hard to recover from then. But he said, when you were running training in particular, as opposed to going through training, was there anything you looked for in a candidate that, you really looked for as the most important thing, or either way, good or bad? And I said, that's actually a great question. I said, there's definitely one bad thing we look for, and it is probably the cardinal sin that you can do or show or display when you're in SEAL training, and that's being called or identified as a boat ducker. So if you've seen any videos of SEAL training, other than the individual events that you'll do to kind of test yourself against the standard of the course, it's a team sport. So you're in what's called a boat crew. We do that by height line. So the tallest person in the class lines up to the shortest person in the class. The reason you do that is they'll just start counting off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then put an officer or senior listed with that boat of similar height, because you're going to be paddling those boats through the surf, doing sit-ups, PTs, push-ups, all that stuff. But you're also going to be running with the boat on your head. So you have 3 people, one on the left side of the boat, 3 people running on the right side of the boat, and then the boat crew leader in the back. But everybody's got their head under the boat, carrying the weight and sharing that load as you're moving that boat across the sand, across concrete to the chow hall or wherever you're moving that boat. The number one thing you can do to be somebody that is not made to do our job is to start ducking your head, to basically take your head away from the pressure and not be willing to carry your part of the load. And that's the lesson. In the SEAL teams, no matter how hard things get, you need to carry your share of the burden. There's great biblical reference to this of picking up a load, of carrying a burden, and I think that's what good human beings should do, is pick up a load and kind of carry that forward into the world. But in SEAL training, the worst thing you can do is duck boat. It'll irritate your teammates, to be sure, but if an instructor sees it, you are about to get maximum benefit if they catch you as a boat ducker. We even have, if you've seen any SEAL training, we also have logs. We have these basically telephone poles that we put over our head and do group exercise with. We have one telephone pole that some instructor, some devious bastard at some point, decided to cut chunks out of the log, timed together with a chain, because he thought if somebody in a log was not putting max effort into it, he'd just separate the logs, do the same exercise. He called it the lie detector. So you could tell if somebody wasn't carrying their part of the weight or keeping up with the rest of the team. As a teammate, because we're all teammates in the life, whether that be family, in your business, in your work, or anything you're pursuing, if nothing else, carry your part of the load. Don't be a boat ducker. Ever onward.